Hi, I'm Shannon. Take a moment and imagine a clear night sky. You stare at all the stars that glimmer in the distance, the nights you counted them, named them, and trace the constellations with your fingers. Now imagine not being able to do that on any night because the stars were no longer visible. Something I experienced. First, we will learn about air quality, how it is measured, and what it is measured. And then we'll discuss other forms of pollution and the roles it plays as well. Lastly, we'll delve a bit deeper and take a look at the role people play in impacting our environment and the effects our environment has on us. Our everyday routines and activities cause greenhouse gases, emissions that we are oblivious to. The dramatic impact we have through our rapid expansion and global industrialization has raised the world's temperature by an entire degree Celsius within just the last century alone. This is actually incredibly significant compared to how little the global temperature has risen in the last century prior, and deserves the attention and action of everyone to create a positive change. In order to reverse this destruction our species has caused over the past century. I lived in Beijing, China, one of the most polluted cities in the world. When the AQI went from 30 to over 500 shortly after I arrived, pollution and climate change turned from just a table conversation I would have in America to needing to educate myself so I could survive living in life-threatening environmental conditions. Air quality is measured through the world using Air Quality Index, or AQI, which provides a snapshot summary of what it is, air quantified by simple reference value. Pollution is a very general term that can refer to a vast multitude of things, but for our purposes, we'll just focus on how it relates to the air quality. We can all take a part by making tiny tweaks to help save our planet. Let's take a deep breath of our first topic. Air. Air quality is measured globally by the Air Quality Index. It is standardized in America by the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, and provides a much easier way to determine the overall impact we're having on the environment. The AQI in America is measured by the EPA on a scale from 0 to 500 and focuses on health effects you may experience within just a few hours or a few days of breathing in polluted air, with additional focus on two pollutant categories. There's ground level ozone is a secondary pollutant produced when two primary pollutants, nitrogen oxide and volatile organic compounds, react to sunlight in stagnant air. Particulate matter, or PM, is a mixture of small particles and liquid droplets that can affect the heart, lungs, and cause serious health effects. Two key factors measured by the AQI that impact our environment are carbon monoxide and sulfur dioxide. Carbon monoxide produced by vehicle exhaust contributes roughly 75% of all carbon monoxide emissions nationwide and 95% in cities. Sulfur dioxide is produced by burning sulfur-containing fuel like coal or oil and is generally higher near industrial complexes, power plants, refineries, and industrial boilers. Now that we've learned about the EPA's AQI and what it measures, let's shed some light on pollution from a more general perspective. Pollution is generally broken down into three categories: mobile, stationary, and indoor, with stationary sources having two subtypes that generate routine air toxin emissions. Mobile sources refer to things in motion, moving, cars, trucks, boats, and pretty much anything else that gets us around. The toxins that come from mobile sources are what we just went over. Carbon monoxide and sulfur dioxide are increased during heavy transit times, like rush hour traffic, or around transit hubs, such as airports, bus and train stations, and downtown transit areas where vehicles sit in traffic frequently. While indoor sources, such as building materials, cleaning products, and utilities, has a category of its own. Let's take a look at the link between indoor and stationary sources. Stationary sources have two subtypes, major and area. Major sources emit 10 tons per year of any of the 187 specifically listed air pollutants by the EPA, or 25 tons per year of any mixture of air toxins. This is commonly caused by equipment leaks, emissions during transport, during discharge, or through emission stacks or vents. Now, area sources are smaller and release less than 10 tons per year or 25 tons per year, respectively. Although these emissions from this category are relatively smaller, they can cause a collective effect that is just as relevant and concerning. We now have a well-rounded understanding of air quality index and pollution in general. So now let's take a look at what this means for the environment and also for us in the long run and for the future generations to come. In order to live, survive, thrive, and grow, people everywhere, everyone consume resources and create an impact on the world around us. Between 1880 to 2012, all land and ocean surfaces warmed roughly 1.53 degrees Fahrenheit. This is according to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, from a summary in 2013. Oceans tend to warm and cool more slowly than land areas. According to the IPCC, 1983 to 2012 is likely the warmest 30-year period of the last 1,400 years. We can reduce our consumption by following EPA guidelines. Some of these guidelines are to use Energy Star labeled products and use clean energy resources. Think about your everyday life. How often do you use non-EPA recommended products or sources? I challenge you to be more aware, care for our world, and set an example of clean living for others to follow. Now let's review. First, we learned about air quality, how it is measured, and what is